Hello viewers, this is Dr. Rajiv Agarwal. I am a Senior Interventional Cardiologist and Director of Cardiology at the Max Smart Super Speciality Hospital situated in Saket, New Delhi. And I'm here today to talk to you about a very important subject, which is heart failure, which is an extremely lethal condition, but a common condition which affects a lot of our heart patients. Okay, hi Michelle, that is a very good question. And heart failure, actually, for the general public, this is a confusing term because when we say heart has failed, that implies a terminal event, but it's not as if the heart has stopped working. What it means is that the heart is not able to function up to the optimum. Whether it be because it is not pumping energetically enough, or there is a rhythm abnormality so that it is not pumping at the right time or in a coordinated way. The fact is that when the heart is not pumping enough blood at a low enough pressure in order to sustain the body's requirements at rest or at exercise, it is called heart failure. So if we talk in terms of a general person's understanding, it should be really heart weakness, but this term is prevalent. So heart failure implies that you can do a lot to correct it. It's not a terminal event. This is quite common, and the causes of this disease vary. It increases with age, but there are many conditions in the younger people also which can cause heart failure, like valvular heart disease. In the older people, it will be especially things like heart attack, which will cause heart failure. Ballpark figure you could take as 1 to 2% of the population is afflicted with heart failure. So heart failure is not really a diagnosis in itself, it is the effect of conditions. And a lot of patients who have a variety of heart conditions can develop heart failure as defined earlier. The commonest cause, which would be 80% of cases, would be people who have blockages in the blood vessels of the heart, that is the coronary arteries, most often causing a heart attack. So patients who've had a recent heart attack or even old heart attack or even multiple heart attacks can be prone to heart failure because the heart muscle is directly affected. Muscle is replaced by scars, so the heart becomes weak. So this is almost 80% of the cases. There is a second group where there is a direct effect on the heart muscle. So doctors, we like complicated terms. We use the term cardiomyopathy, which is just a fancy Latin kind of meaning of saying that heart muscle is diseased. So where there is direct disease of the heart muscle, the heart muscle itself becomes weak even without a heart attack, and that may be around 10 to 15% of cases. And the remaining 5%, you might say, is because of abnormal rhythm in the heart. So arrhythmias, there are ECG abnormalities, there are many conditions like post-pregnancy. There can be weakness of the heart, excess of alcohol, and other things could also cause it. So there's a whole list. But I think for the public, you should remember that if you have had a heart attack or are at risk for it, or if you have cardiomyopathy, or if you have an arrhythmia, and especially if you are aging, then you could have heart failure. Valvular heart disease is becoming less, but it is still there. So, in case somebody is having increasing shortness of breath, he's not able to do as much activity as he could do earlier, or he's developing a little bit of thickness around the ankles, or he's getting up gasping in the middle of the night, or undue coughing, etc. So these are some early signs which should alert the person that I need a checkup, and there could be many causes, one of them being heart failure. Even just a simple thing like anemia could be causing similar symptoms. So the point is to be alert for any new symptoms and get them checked. And if it turns out to be heart failure, then there are lots of things that the doctor will do. The assessment will proceed along multiple lines. One is, why did this patient develop heart failure? Is it because he has some silent heart attack, or he's having uncontrolled hypertension, or is he consuming too much alcohol, or he has arrhythmia, etc. So one is the why of it. Second is, how weak is his heart? So for that, echocardiography, ECG, etc. may be done. Chest X-ray would help. There's a blood test called a BNP test which the doctor might do. There may be angiography to be done to look at blockages in the blood vessels, and simultaneously medicines will be started in order to relieve the symptoms of heart failure, plus to reduce the adverse consequences. Because remember, this is a disease, even in its mild form, it can be have very serious consequences. And not to scare people, but it can have a 50% 5-year mortality. So, I mean, that is huge. 50% 5-year mortality in a disease. And so we need to identify heart failure early. And the good news is that we have a lot of treatment available, both in terms of medical therapy. Then there are interventional treatments that we have for this kind of thing. My message is that to be positive. Remember that although it is a dangerous disease, there is a lot which modern medicine can offer you, and we are able to control people at the early stage, almost arrest it. There are many newer medicines, including a group of medicines which is called the ARNI group of medicines, which can almost halt the process of heart failure in many cases. For advanced cases, we have many devices which can be placed in order to sort of tune up the heart, I think in layperson language, make the heart more efficient and prevent adverse consequences of sudden death which might occur. In the most extreme cases, we have availability of heart transplant, LV assist device, and the good news is that all this, the whole spectrum, is available in India and is being regularly practiced. So I think the heart patient should first be aware of his diagnosis. He should be willing to modify his lifestyle, take the medicines, go for regular checkups in order to derive the best benefit from the medical care which is available. Okay, so I think on that, we have a very band-aid approach to medicine, and we all want to enjoy ourselves and have the pizzas, etc., until we reach a stage where then we need an operation. So that's not the way that you can prevent things, and so prevention should start early. And healthy lifestyle should start early. 80% of non-communicable diseases, and this comes under the category of non-communicable diseases, can be prevented by a healthy lifestyle, avoiding excesses, doing regular exercise, having simple checkups, including your blood pressure, diabetes, not smoking, again something which a lot of people, and unfortunately a lot of youngsters just not willing to listen to. So when you are healthy, think that this is the biggest blessing that you have, and try to preserve it, and so on. So that's one. Secondly, keep checking from time to time. So simple health checks would be required. Be alert to symptoms, and then if required, then be willing to go for the proper treatment. So that part also requires some financial planning. Again, we do not plan for ill health, whereas all of us sooner or later will have ill health. So I think the financial planning for health should also be part of it. I know maybe I'm enlarging this question too much, but I think these strands are all important.